Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to begin by asking you to pause for just a moment and think about how you are feeling today. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, deep down in your thoughts. We often ask people, "How are you doing?" But the answer we usually give is automatic. We say, "I'm fine" or "I'm good," even if the truth is more complicated. Today I want to talk about mental health, because it is one of the most important parts of our overall well-being, and yet it is too often misunderstood or overlooked. When we talk about health, we often focus on the body, things like eating the right foods, exercising, and avoiding illness. But health is not only about muscles and bones, it is also about our minds. Mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make decisions. Just as we take care of our physical body, we must also take care of our mental state, because the two are deeply connected. One of the first things to understand is that mental health exists on a spectrum. It is not as simple as saying someone is either mentally healthy or mentally ill. All of us move along this spectrum throughout our lives. There are times when we feel strong, balanced, and in control, and there are times when stress, loss, or trauma weigh us down. Conditions like anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder are not signs of weakness. They are signs that the brain and body are responding to challenges in ways that require support and care. The brain plays a central role in all of this. Just as the heart pumps blood and the lungs bring in oxygen, the brain manages thoughts, emotions, and reactions. When stress levels rise, the brain releases chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals help us in emergencies, but when they stay elevated for too long, they can damage both mental and physical health. Chronic stress has been linked to weakened immunity, heart problems, and difficulty concentrating. This is why learning to manage stress is not just about feeling calmer, it is about protecting the body as a whole. Sleep is another major factor in mental health. When we do not get enough sleep, the brain struggles to regulate emotions. Small problems feel overwhelming, focus becomes harder, and decision-making weakens. Over time, lack of sleep increases the risk of developing anxiety and depression. On the other hand, when we prioritize rest, we give the brain the chance to reset, to process, and to restore balance. Social connection is equally important. Humans are wired to belong, and isolation can take a heavy toll on mental health. Research has shown that people who maintain strong relationships with friends, family, or supportive communities are more resilient against stress and illness. Talking to someone you trust, whether it is a loved one or a mental health professional, can make an enormous difference. It is not about always finding solutions right away. Sometimes it is simply about being heard. Now, some people may ask, what can I do if I want to improve my mental health? There are several practical steps. First, taking care of your body, because physical and mental health are closely linked. Regular exercise, even something as simple as a walk, helps release endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. Eating balanced meals fuels the brain with the energy it needs. And of course, getting enough sleep sets a foundation for clear thinking and stable emotions. Second, practicing stress management techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or journaling can give your mind space to slow down and process. Third, setting boundaries with work, technology, and even with relationships helps prevent burnout. And finally, reaching out for professional help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Therapists, counselors, and doctors are trained to provide support and strategies, just as we would seek a doctor's help if we had a broken bone or persistent pain. The most important thing to remember is that mental health is part of everyone's life. It is not something that only matters when things go wrong. Just like we brush our teeth to prevent cavities, we can practice daily habits that protect our mental well-being before problems escalate. When society treats mental health as equal to physical health, when we reduce the stigma around seeking help, we create stronger communities where people can thrive, not just survive. So I leave you with this thought. If you woke up with a fever, you would probably not hesitate to rest or to see a doctor. Why then should it be any different if you wake up feeling mentally unwell? Taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body. Let us treat both with the same value and the same respect. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Continuing this conversation on mental health is something we can all benefit from.